Welcome back. You're watching NewsX and I'm Vaishali Kohli. The Iranian protests are currently ongoing and becoming even worse and expanding since the previous day, with demonstrations taking place during daylight hours. In the city of Abdanan, protesters tore open bags of rice inside a shop owned by the IRGC and threw the rice into the air. Rice, along with other basic food staples, has become increasingly unaffordable for ordinary Iranians due to crushing inflation and the collapse of purchasing power. With the visuals on your screens, you can see the people throwing this food into the air and on the ground. I have Aditya Vadhavan joining me. Aditya, what more can you tell us?
Well, absolutely. Due to this unrest in Iran, Vishali, definitely the day-to-day food commodities are getting very, very inflated. Due to which there is a resentment among the Iranian population. We have seen several videos that have been going viral on the social media. Where the police is seen violently beating the common Iranian citizens in many provinces of Iran, be it Ilam province and several other provinces in and around the Iranian capital of Tehran. So indeed, at this juncture, this inflation is becoming a problem for Iran, and definitely, if you see, the rising inflation is a worry for the people of Iran, and definitely we can expect a major breakthrough as far as the Iranian protests are concerned, because increasingly they are turning violent as the day progresses. Vishali.
Stay with me, Aditya. Now, with the Iranian protests hitting the 12th day now of these protests, which have spread across the country and are not decreasing but increasing in intensity. Now, over these 12 days, statues of the Qasem Soleimani are being toppled. As you can see with these visuals on your screens, the protesters seem extremely enraged. Aditya, back to you on this.
Well, absolutely. As the day passes, the situation in Iran is getting very, very tense. And as per some reports, in the Iranian regime has deployed its special, very, very special forces in the region, in the Iranian province of Ilam, to contain these protests which are going on within by the Iranian people. Definitely, in the days ahead, there is also an international monitoring of what is happening in Iran. Some days back, even the US president.
With protests spreading so far now and the people on the streets remaining the same in quantity, more visuals on your screens show that now, post these statues being toppled, demonstrators are openly clashing with the authorities. According to sources, the third city, Karaj, has fallen under protester control as well. So we'll try and get my colleague to join us in a bit with more details. Aditya, a lot of protests, people are enraged. What more can you tell us?
Well, absolutely. People are in Iran very, very enraged at this juncture against this Ayatollah Al Khamenei led government in Iran. Definitely, they have been calling this regime very authoritarian and a sort of a dictatorship. As Ayatollah Al Khamenei has been the Iranian supreme leader for many years now. So, indeed, at this juncture, by the successive policy decisions made by the Ayatollah Ali Khamenei regime, definitely people are not at all very happy as to what policies he is taking, what policy measures he is implementing. And definitely, Vishali, if you see, these protests in Iran is taking a very dangerous turn as the day progresses, because in some videos, the Iranian police personnel are seen beating the individual Iranian citizens with sticks. So indeed, all these videos that have been going viral on the social media, there have been tweets against the Ayatollah Al Khamenei regime of Iran. So definitely, it needs to be seen, whether these protests, whether this unrest that is, going on in Iran, in several cities and provinces of Iran, will this come to an end, or the situation will further escalate? Because, Iran is a very, very important country as far as the Middle East is concerned. And definitely, we are seeing many geopolitical tensions surrounding the Middle East continent. So indeed, at this juncture, Vaishali, it is very significant to note to ensure that there is a peace and harmony among the people of Iran. And if it doesn't happen, then several European nations and particularly the United States is also preparing an action plan against the Ayatollah Al Khamenei regime. Vishali.
Stay with me, Aditya. Now, with more visuals of these protests coming forth, it is clear that crowds gathered in the streets of Abdanan in Iran's southwestern Ilam province, with social media videos showing people chanting slogans against Supreme Leader Ayatollah Al Khamenei. Iranian media confirmed protests in the city, initially driven by economic grievances. Reportedly, around 300 people assembled peacefully before some raised anti-establishment slogans, prompting security forces to intervene and disperse demonstrators. The unrest adds to ongoing public anger over Iran's economic conditions. Let's listen in. Aditya, what more can you tell us?
Well, definitely, Vishali, the situation in Iran is not at all very favorable at this juncture because considering the fact that, these protests have taken a very, very violent turn. This unrest is growing day by day, Vishali. So indeed, all the human rights watch group are also closely monitoring violations that have been going on in Iran at this juncture. So it becomes very pertinent to note, what successive steps are taken by the Iranian regime headed by Ayatollah Al Khamenei. And definitely, in the days to come, we could expect some major violence, spreading across several provinces of Iran that have been so far untouched by the violence. But it needs to be seen what further action is taken in this regard, as it is a very developmental story that is unfolding in Iran. Vishal.
Stay with me, Aditya. Now, protests are spreading across Iran as over over inflation, falling purchasing power and economic hardship. So Aditya is joining me. Aditya, now a lot of protests happening in bazaars as well. What more can you tell us? Shops have been shut down.
Well, absolutely. This is the resultant of the widespread inflation that is now taking place in Iran. Definitely, the shop, as you mentioned, that shops have also been closed in this province of Iran. So definitely, it's a very problematic situation that is spiraling for the common people, because this is something, people want in their lives. But now, since there is a political instability within Iran, at this juncture, there is, a possibility also again of the reigniting of the war between Israel and Iran. So definitely, people are not at all happy with the policy decisions of Ayatollah Al Khamenei. What decisions are they taking? Because the economy is in shambles. There have been the American sanctions have already also, to a great extent crippled the Iranian economy for years now, because these American sanctions are in place for the last many years on Iran. So definitely these sanctions, these American sanctions are creating a bit problem for the Iranian regime, and definitely it needs to be seen from here on how this is handled. Yes, Vishali.
Stay with me, Aditya. Now, in other updates from Iran, the UK's Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office has issued an urgent travel warning for the country. The advisory comes amid mass protests spreading across Iran, with reports suggesting the Islamic Republic is on the brink as unrest intensifies nationwide. That's a new development, Aditya. What more can you tell us?
Well, absolutely. The US has this is a routine thing. US keeps advising travel advisories for its citizens in the countries where the hostile environment is created. Now, this latest US travel advisory for Iran has come into effect, and recently, sometime back, even India had also released a travel advisory, for urging citizens to travel to Iran because the situation is very, very tense at the moment. Unrest is growing due to inflation and several other policy developments under the Ayatollah Al Khamenei regime. So definitely, there is a growing sense of concern as far as these developments in Iran is concerned, especially.